Lots of news in the Philippines today. Weather system, typhoon, foreigner arrested, corruption, those people getting caught. Anyway, let's get into the details here. The first story here on September 20th is that U.S. France nationals told avoid September 21st protest areas. It's been coming to light that there's a lot of corruption in the Philippines. Who would have ever thought? Anyway, it's coming out. There are ghost flood control flood control projects coming to light, and there are congressional inquiries and all that type of thing, investigations. Anyway, there is a large in many cities, in fact, not just Manila. There are a number of cities that are going to hold protests by different groups. The bishops, the part of the Catholic Church, is helping promote it. Other labor groups are helping to promote so many different groups. There could be violence. There are protests right now going on all over the world. If you're watching a lot of mainstream media, you probably don't know that. But yeah, there are protests going on in France, in England, in the UK. I think Spain, a number of other countries as well. A lot of it having to do with the immigration issues around the world. But anyway, let's get into this. If you're in the Philippines, the respective embassies of the United States and France have issued an alert reminding their nationals to avoid demonstration areas across Metro Manila, as thousands are anticipated to march in anti-corruption rallies nationwide. There you go, nationwide. I'm sure here in Cebu City, where I'm at, Mandaue City, U.S. citizens should avoid these demonstrations due to the potential for violence. The U.S. Embassy in Manila said in an advisory. Exercise caution when in the vicinity of any large gatherings, as even peaceful demonstrations have the potential to turn violent without warning. Following instructions from local authorities, it added. Um, Department of Foreign Affairs cautions against traveling to Nepal. Protests going on there too. I think in Nepal, I read a lot of international news. Nepal, what they were going to they were going to cut back on social programs or shut down social media apps, something like that. And huge demonstration broke out. Um, is that where they even burned the government buildings? Don't remember which country that was, but yeah, there are riots going on all over the world. Similar demonstration alert calling for vigilance among French nationals in the Philippines. Obviously, if you're any place in the world and there are protests going on, it increases your risk to be anywhere near. Obviously, um, nearly 50,000 police officers from the Manila Police District and 1,400 reserve. I read another here nationwide, more than 50,000 police personnel will be deployed to the various areas. So just be aware of that. And I read another article that stated that half a day the government offices will be open only half a day on Monday. Not sure if that's just in Manila or countrywide. So if you need to go to immigration, check with them first. Next story, we've got a boy. This year in the Philippines been very quiet, storm and typhoon wise. A lot of rain in many areas, rain and flooding. But the typhoon has to do with hurricanes, have to do with the wind speed, and very very low numbers of tropical depressions and storms here in the Philippines. But we now have a typhoon that could well turn into a super typhoon. These storm systems that come in, low pressure systems, turns into a tropical storm and a severe tropical storm, and then a typhoon, and then a super typhoon. off of the cold Pacific waters out here, and it hits the warm waters of the Philippine Sea, and it can, even within a day sometimes, can turn into a super typhoon and super typhoon. Anyway, we now have a typhoon, and the Philippines calls it Nando, and internationally it has a different name, and it is projected to clip the northern end of the Philippines. This is Luzon Island here. Got Cebu, I'm down here. We've had cloudy skies. I've had my windows open, nice cool breeze. I think cool meaning it's about 30 degrees. I think about 83 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. And very, very comfortable for me. Nice breeze. Anyway, it's gonna hit this area up here, but it will affect. You can see the I don't know if you call it outward bands. Many decades ago, when I took a couple meteorological classes, so I'm not up on all the terminology, but definitely will affect and pull more southwest moisture probably into this area, very possibly. I am not a forecaster, but I do have 3 or 4 different weather apps I follow. So be aware of that. A lot of rain and flooding. You don't need a typhoon to have major flooding, major damage. The next story from the Journal Online, and this usually has quite a bit of good news. Overstaying male Australian with multiple identities nabbed by BIFSU. And interesting story. Allegedly used multiple fake identities and overstaying in the country. An Australian man was nabbed in Makati City. Um, let's see, facing deportation. He had been using fraudulent immigration documents and requested his deportation if apprehended. This was Australia. The complaint further alleged that Campbell was involved in drug-related activities and had a record of abusive behavior. And in fact, he'd been reported for violating the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act in connection with a 2021 incident involving his live-in partner. He was also said to be in possession of unlicensed firearms. So the police and international police systems are getting better and better at sharing information. Boy, just in the last 10 years, I've seen more and more of this type of thing, that people wanted in other countries are being tracked down here in the Philippines. They thought they could escape here. And as the digitization of all this and the sharing of information becomes more complete and more accurate, more and more people running from the law are being caught up. Next story: Bureau of Immigration deports 91 Chinese Pogo workers. Boy, it's been almost 2 years ago that Pogo's Philippine offshore gaming operators were banned from the Philippines, but there's still probably thousands of them. One time I read that there were probably 2.5, 3 million, and primarily Chinese, working in these companies when they were forced to leave. Some of them were in condo towers, some in office towers, some in residential subdivisions, especially in the Manila area, but across other cities in the Philippines as well. When you kick out hundreds of millions of people, you leave a lot of empty spaces, residences, office buildings, and big vacancy issues, especially in the Manila area. But anyway, they've caught another 91 Chinese Pogo workers in an authorized operation. Another situation you should be aware of, I just heard about something like this recently, as a matter of fact. An expat living in Cebu City, and his girlfriend threatened to press charges against him. And I think he decided to take a little trip out of the country. And not sure what finally happened there, but anyway, Cebu woman drops charges versus live-in partner. That could be you, guys, after alleged physical abuse. And interesting, I got married about a week ago. Not Saturday, a week ago I got married, and I've known this girl, my girlfriend, for 6.5 years. Growing relationship, and yeah, the first couple of years was a what wasn't a physical abuse. It was a uh, some months were better than others, put it that way. Uh, but there were some frustrations in communication and that type of thing. And but we've grown very close over the years. And anyway, I had some of her family. In fact, her daughter was staying with us for a few days over the wedding days, and she asked, "Do you guys ever argue?" Because she's been around us many times and never seen us argue. And do you guys ever argue? Do you ever fight? And the answer is no. We have discussions. If we have a disagreement about something, we talk about it, and we talk it through. But no, nothing ever physical. And I've seen videos online months past with foreigners, a foreigner guy trying to throw his girlfriend out of his house, and yeah, I think he got arrested on the deal. But yeah, you just need to. Gosh, life's too short. Life is too short. In this particular case, I read the article. Um, 23-year-old woman accused her live-in partner of repeatedly beating her inside their rented apartment up by IT Park, offices up by IT Park, but decided not to pursue charges and went to the police station. I think she had a meeting, she had a discussion with the person's parents or relatives. Uh, in relation to the anti-violence, and I think they reported she reportedly changed her mind after the suspect's family settled with her and asked her to send him back to their hometown in Davao City. So settled with her, that means they paid her off financially. Not sure, but anyway, you don't want to go through that. I know several stories of expats, foreign expats. Of course, that's what an expat is, a foreigner, and getting involved and getting in that type of trouble, and yeah, having to pay out a lot of money to police or the family to get the charges dismissed, and then they've had to leave the country quickly. Don't want to stick around for more of that kind of thing. And jumping back to our typhoon story here, jump over to windy.com. It's a free app online. You can download the app to your phone, Apple or Android phone. And this is the Philippines here, and they just have so much information and so much additional information you can use all over the world. In the wintertime, tracking storms, snow depth, wind, waves, just so much. Clouds, satellite, weather radar, satellite, yeah, wind. If you're a flyer, you can check low winds, high winds, medium range winds. Anyway, you've got a former big storm hitting, I think, China over here presently. We had one about a week ago that hit Vietnam and that area there. I think they got some flooding over there. I believe that's what I read. Anyway, we have this storm system here and you've got different ECMWF, you've got different GFS, different models. So there's a lot of science involved, but there's disagreement amongst the different models about the forecast that'll actually go. Will it, like so many, they swing north up towards Taiwan, or even back to the east? But yeah, we'll see. It's definitely going to have some major effects, especially on the northern part of Luzon. Got Manila down in this area down here, Cebu City down here where I'm at. But yeah, I can drag this because I'm a premium. I'm a premium member here. I can get a much longer forecast down here, and I can drag this. You can drag it across to see where it's going to be. Different days. I think it's going to hit. What is that? That's Sunday, 10 p.m. This particular model, and the eye is north, up kind of in the Batanes Islands up here, north of Luzon, but going to have some major effects, definitely. The next story from Sunstar. Boy, I'm having trouble with my internet. The last couple of weeks, it'll go good for a month or two, and then, gosh, for a week or two, it will just be on and off and on and off and on and off. We've complained, but nobody has showed up. Nobody's followed up with PLDT, and I've checked all of our connections. And my friend down the hallway, he has the same issues. I don't know if it's something with this building. Anyway, flood-free Cebu Drive launched. Good luck with that. I've been here 10 years and lived in 6 different condos, different areas of the city, and the floods continue. And yeah, there's a lot of apparently fraud and waste going on. A lot of people putting the money in their pockets. You have issues. You've got in the Philippines and many countries, you've got either too much water all at once or not enough water. You've got droughts, and there are issues. They're difficult to deal with, especially when you didn't plan early on when the city was young. But there are things that can be done to help the situation. And there's a lot of pressure. So, a citizen led push, the initiative comes in response to the growing challenges posed by heavy rains, persistent flooding. And hopefully something will, gosh, there, like I said, there's could be a lot of heads rolling, could be a lot of criminal indictments against people involved in this, contractors and politicians, and just a whole lot of negligence at the very least going on, if not outright fraud. I don't have where I live now. We don't have too many issues with it where I live now, and pretty good drainage. They put in some new drain tile in the last year. There are a couple areas where on heavy rains you'll get it pooling. Uh, but all in all, generally not that bad. But there are areas of the city that just always are flooding, really affecting traffic, transportation. And the last article probably axed Bulacan DPWH official bears profit sharing for ghost projects. Ghost means it never happened, I guess. So he was caught and he decided to talk. Dismissed engineer Hernandez bared on Thursday the profit sharing among officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, for the ghost flood control projects. Wow. The largest share of profit at 40% went to Henry Alcantara, while he and the 2 engineers received 20%. For those projects, we had a profit sharing arrangement. Boss Henry got 40%, I got 20%, the others got 20%. Wow, in the sharing, whatever the total earnings were, there was a percentage division. This was how it was split. Happens around the world, not just here in the Philippines, but finally some people are getting caught. Wow. And this construction, what they do, they lease out their construction license to different people on these ghost projects. Sally Santos about her earlier statement for the delivery of 245 million worth of cash to Hernandez's office. And yeah, you did get a bag of cash and deliver it. Wow, could have delivered up to 1 billion from 2022 to present. Wow, wow, wow. Sims Construction Trading was behind the 55 million ghost project inspected by President Marcos Jr. Santos also admitted involvement in borrowing and or renting out their contractors' licenses. For every license rent transaction, they were paid 3% royalty fee. Contractor's license is being rented out for in-house contracting or ghost projects. In-house contracting means only on paper, no actual project was carried out, but it was made to appear as if it was one, with the license being borrowed. Wow. Anyway, there are stories almost daily, and people admitting to things, people accusing others of things. So it's going to be a couple of months, perhaps, before uh, well, will we ever know how deep this goes into the system? Anyway, that's it for now. Stay safe, safe travels, and we'll see you in the next video.